Hi everybody, welcome dear scandalised viewers. I'm playing with my new cards so you get a bit extra. So I thought we all need some light relief, and we've got to a very strange stage in world politics where the corruption of people like Roger Stone just actually becomes light relief. So I have to visit the Roger Stone and the New York Madam story. Now, regular viewers will know I actually don't give a flying toss about what goes on in bedrooms. I don't care about cross-dressing judges. I actually don't care about corporate titans who want to be led around on all fours on a dog leash. I actually don't want the image in my head. Don't want to go there. But what's interesting about this is hopefully it's a nail in Roger Stone's coffin, because he's one of the characters in this whole tableau that seems to be coming up like a prairie dog. He just seems to be coming up, you know, whack, whack, whack-a-mole stuff, you know. There he is, Roger Stone, you know. Ghastly little creature. Ghastly. So this is a reading looking at that issue, so I'll just do a couple of short ones. So, my first question is, will they be able to prove Roger Stone's connection and involvement with this? If he was just a client, like I said, ho-hum, right? But obviously not, and I don't quite understand where he fits in to this. So I just want to see, what's Roger Stone's involvement with the madam? Come on down. Roger Stone and the madam. She'd have some stories, wouldn't she, really? Okay, what do the cards say about him? Ah, the apprentice. Have fun. Full. Powerful. Okay, that's the thing with this whole story, isn't it? You look at certain issues and you think, oh yeah, whatever, and they turn out to be hugely potent. So, kicking off, we have the 8 of discs, or the 8 of gardens it is in this French deck. The apprentice card. Who's the apprentice to whom? It might even be, I always make a joke and leave this alone, The Apprentice, the show. I'm wondering if there aren't some sort of recordings from that era of Trump, just before he went into the candidacy, something about the apprentice. But learning their trade, it might be Roger Stone learnt more than we might think from the madam, or the other way round. She learnt that she would have a lot of power. Women like, remember the old Heidi Fleiss scandal? Some of you all remember it. If you're a madam dealing with really seriously powerful men, you have to be very discreet. Right? So she's not volunteering information here. It'll have to be dragged out with pliers, but she'll have no choice. But I think this might indicate that she realised early on that she had more power if she allied herself with Roger Stone. That's how I'm interpreting that particular card. The Queen of Wands, or the Queen of Swords, I suspect is her. We are dealing with a madam. So swords are the intellect and the mind, but I don't think that's particularly her field. But do not underestimate this woman. She might look like she's made of plasticine, but she has a very sharp mind. Or she has a sister who has a very sharp mind. There's some woman, and I'm asking about her, so I'm going to have to give her credit. The pictures I've seen do not scream out at me Fulbright scholar, but I think she's got rat cunning. Now it gets interesting. The Eight of Fire, which is the Eight of Wands, that's the one in our traditional deck, viewers, with the 8 spears. Things are happening very suddenly and there's an explosion, right? And the Chariot, which is also about movement and hurrying forward. So this is not just a tangential sex scandal. It's not about the bonking. It's about the other relationships. I want to know if there was blackmail of other customers. I want to know if there was blackmail of customers or just the fact they've got her client list is a problem for people. So was there blackmail involved in these transactions? Was she and Roger Stone blackmailing people? Okay. The Moon. Ooh, yes. That's interesting. That wasn't my first opinion, just reading it, you know, in terms of consuming news. I thought, oh God, they've got her client list. That's where the power is in terms, and the revelations will be. I asked about blackmail. This is blackmail. You've got the Moon, right, deceit. The Moon also governs reputations. So in this case, the darkening of reputations. Oh, it'll be interesting who's on that list. Oh, Lordy, the divorce lawyers are going to be busy in the next 18 months in Manhattan. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Got the Moon, all about suggesting deceptive dealings. Now, check this out. Na Batman. You've got the Ace here. This is the Ace of Wands, which is the Ace of Swords, which is truth. Truth, justice, and the American way. So, boom, it's being exposed. The Four of Wands. Okay, that's the Four of Swords. That's traditionally the card of retreat. This would be guys who are really worried as we sit here, choking on their whiskey and very worried by this. The snakes come back. Remember the snakes from the last reading? These are guys who loved the good life, who didn't care, who were convinced they were invincible, who thought they could party large. Remember I called it the Playboy card? This is the sexual side of all that sleaze and corruption. Oh, God. Okay, so yes, in answer to the question, they were blackmailing people. But I don't think that's the most powerful revelations to come out of this case. You'd have to think New York and her actual client list, most of these are going to be Democrats, Democrat voters, not necessarily Democrat lawmakers. But I think they should be looking at some of the madams in Utah and Kentucky myself. Okay, so just quickly, how is this going to impact on everything else? Is Mueller interested in this? I guess no, that's not my question. Doesn't matter really whether he does it or some other court. Okay, will this come back to Trump? How will this impact Trump? Because Roger Stone was his man. It looks like he was organising sex parties. Who would have been there? Trump doesn't drink. Had to be doing something. Is this story going to come back to Trump? escape. Oh dear. Oh, look, sometimes the cards are just funny, really. Okay. I love these cards. 6 of Wands. That's the 6 of Swords. This is trying to escape from a very difficult situation. Right, in the Rider-Waite deck, that's the people rowing away through the swords, trying to get away. This is the figure with the bat wings trying to fly off away from the drama. Whether that's Trump or Roger Stone or the clients, not quite sure. You then have the 5 of Tides or the 5 of Cups. Disappointment. Right. Now, and this figure is pregnant. We're going to have more stories come out about, I think, the actual, I hadn't thought about this aspect before, but the actual women who were working for her, because they'll have stories and they'll probably want to sell them. And I'd say more than one would have become pregnant in the course of her working life and have stories about pregnancy. Okay. 3 of Fire, 3 of Wands. Okay, so again, do we have a theme of escape here, viewers? Wanting to get away. Now, the 3 of Wands also is commerce and trade. So these are wealthy men. Yes, it is going to come back to haunt Trump. It's the Strength card. It's going to hit him very strongly. It's funny how these things come back while we're looking over here. Something else is happening over there. It's hard to keep track. But this is ongoing and it's going to have a very strong impact. The last card, the Fool. You can't really say there's one fool in this game, can you? Is the fool Roger Stone? Is the fool Trump? Is the fool Rupert Murdoch? Oh, God, how I loathe that man. The Fool. Not good for the players, right? It's not good for the men who went to this place because they were guaranteed absolute discretion, and I'm sure for 20 years they had it. But now they've been foolish. Like I said, the only winners in this, the divorce lawyers in downtown Manhattan. All right, trendsetters, see you real soon. Bye.